Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how I made this cozy stack sweatsuit from velour fabric, all from scratch. This was a very hard process. I'm not gonna lie, this is not something that is super easy. So if you're excited to see how I did this, just keep watching. First thing you want to do is make cutouts of the pant leg. I ended up tracing my favorite pair of leggings because I did want the pants to fit a little tight. And then this is like the extension piece. I just freestyled the shape that I wanted for that. If you watched my stack sweats video already, you know how the leg extension works. You have to add extra fabric to the bottom of the pants in order to create that stacked effect. First thing you want to start doing is cutting out your pant leg. I have the fabric folded over so that when I'm finished cutting, this will be like 2 pant legs. So you want to start cutting with seam allowance. Seam allowance is very important for when you're sewing on a sewing machine or even sewing by hand. If you make any mistakes, the seam allowance really helps out. So I'm doing 1 inch over for seam allowance. So right here, I am just going to put it on top of another 2 sheets of fabric and cut the outline. You don't need to do seam allowance for this one because you're just cutting the exact same shape. This top layer that I have on top already allows seam allowance. And then you want to cut out the extension for the legs. Okay, so I have my pants. I have the front side and the back side of the pants. And then this is the extended part. And yes, I broke a nail off camera. And I have a waistband, 2 waistbands, one for the pants and one for the jacket, which brings us to the jacket pieces. These are 2 front pieces for the jacket. This is the back side of the jacket. Waistband. This is the sleeves, both of the sleeves, and this is the wristband. And these are pockets that are poorly cut. I will be recutting those. My fire stick remote and hood of the jacket. For the pants, I did trace some leggings. For the pants, for the jacket, I ended up tracing a shirt to make that. Then I just folded that in half to make both of those front pieces. For the wristband, I just cut a straight line. For the waistbands, I cut straight lines across and split them in half. For the sleeve, I just cut a long sleeve shirt open because I did not want to fuck the sleeve up. I could not find anything online on how to make the sleeve. So I just cut a long sleeve shirt open and traced it. For the hood, I traced one of my hoods. And we're about to start sewing these pieces together. I just have this pinned together. It's not sewed whatsoever. Okay, so now that you have it pinned together like this, now what we're gonna do is flip it over. So you want it to be good side to good side, and I'm about to show you exactly what I mean by that. This is the bad side of the fabric, and by that, I just mean this will be like on the inside, and this is the good side, the side that you want to show on the outside of the pants. So what you wanna do is sew along this on both of the pants. We're gonna sew both of these. So I'm not going to show you guys how I use my sewing machine throughout the entire video, only because 1, I would like to save time. I don't want this video to be extremely long. And 2, I know that for stretchy fabric, I am not sewing the proper way, and I do not want to show you guys the wrong techniques. For stretchy fabric, it is best to use a serger machine. I don't have a serger, so I'm using a sewing machine. Also, it's better to use zigzag stitching for stretchy fabric. I also don't have a presser foot that allows me to do zigzag stitching. So I'm straight stitching my fabric patterns, which you should not do with stretchy fabric. I'm only doing this because 1, the sweatsuit is for me, and 2, I just really want to get this done without having to spend extra money for another machine or another presser foot. The presser foot I wanted was like an extra $25, and I just did not have the time for that. So what happens when you use a straight stitch you are at risk of ripping your fabric. No, I did not experience that, but I'm still going to let you guys know the risk of just straight stitching your fabric all the way down. Okay, now that we have both pieces sewn, it's nice and sewn, nice and sturdy. I already stretched the seams out to make sure that they would not rip open. This is how it looks on the inside. Now what you want to do next, you want to flip them over so that they're good side to good side, meaning this is the back side of the fabric, this is what we're showing on the inside, and this is the outside. So you want to flip them on top of each other, good side to good side, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Alrighty, so now that you have it good side to good side, you want to pin it all the way down the leg. This is what we're about to sew. We're going to sew the left and the right side of the leg. We're not going to do the inner part because we do have to secure the crotch area. So we're just going to do the outside of the leg first. And yeah. And then after that, we'll sew the inside of the leg and then add the stacked effect. Period, sis. So now that I have both sides sewn down all the way to the bottom, I put a little pin here at the crotch part. And now I'm going to sew down the inside of the pants. Now we're going to move on to the waistband. I did measure my waist for this. Guys, I would say this was one of the hardest parts of my project was the waistband, but we're going to get through it. The first thing you want to do is fold it over and sew a straight line, a straight stitch down there. Once you have the waistband connected end to end, you want to line it up so that the stitch line matches the back of the pants stitch line. And then you're going to fold that waistband in half again and line it around the waist. In order to do this, you're going to have to stretch the fabric while you're sewing. That's what made this process hard, because you're pulling and sewing on the machine at the same time. It takes technique, but I believe the more that I do it, the better I'll get. And this is just an example of how you'll have to pull while you're sewing it. You'll have to be stretching it. Okay, so now we have the waistband on. I did make a couple of mistakes. I would say the waistband was the most annoying part about like doing the entire set. I did mess up right there. I'm gonna cut it off so it's not noticeable. Now we're gonna attach the extension to the legs. Which we'll need these shapes for. Basically what you want to do is sew straight down here and then sew straight down here, and then we will attach it to the leg and create that extension. If you've watched my stack sweats video, you likely know how to do this part already. Alrighty, so the pants are done. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the jacket part. The first thing I'm gonna start off is with the hood. So for the hood, I do have 4 identical pieces, and that is because I'm creating a hood, but I want to line the inside with more fabric. So, since I feel like I'd be confusing my damn self while I'm talking. So, I have 4 equal cutouts of the hood. So what you want to do is place them back side to back side. Which means inside pieces to inside pieces, and then the outside should look like this. So basically I pulled it over and pinned it right here, because usually on hoodies you have like a lining. So I'm going to line the hoodie right here all the way down on both pieces, and that's when I will flip both pieces over like this. Both insides looking real cozy, period. So then what we're gonna do is flip it over, and this is the outside of it, and then we're gonna flip this one on top of it like so. All the fabric on top of each other. Now we're going to pin this down and we're going to sew all the way from on top of here all the way down, and we're going to start right here. All right, girl, this is how your hood is going to look when you finish sewing it together. This is the inside and this is the outside, and you should still have this part open. Now we're going on to the body of the jacket. Now you want it to be good side to good side. Again, that means the good fabric is touching each other. So basically the jacket is inside out. And no, I don't have it sewn down or anything yet. I'm just laying the pieces on top of each other. So I have the two front flats laying on top of the body, like the back of the jacket. And now for this part, the only thing you're gonna sew is right here. So you wanna sew along this line and stop right there. And you wanna sew along here and stop right here. You do not wanna sew on the neck part because the jacket won't be able to open up. So, okay, so this is how it's looking afterwards. Now we're gonna focus on the sleeves. All right. This is how you want the sleeve to be placed. Of course, you're gonna have to basically stretch the fabric. I'm gonna pin it and then show you guys. Okay, I have pinned the sleeve to the jacket. This is how it will look once you have it all pinned properly. I know it looks a little weird at this angle, but I'm trying. This is how it's looking right now. Then you're gonna sew all along here. Once you have both sleeves on properly, this is how the sweatsuit will look. Then you want to focus on folding it over. Now you're gonna have extra fabric that you'll eventually have to cut off, but you want to fold the sweatsuit over on both sides and pin it down, and then you're just gonna sew along those lines. So for the pockets, I'm going to sew all around the outlines, of course. But before that, I'm going to fold it over to create that effect that, you know, normally jackets have. You don't want to have thin pockets. Now that the pockets are sewed on, I did fuck up. I fucked up so bad right there, y'all. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Because it's still cute. It's still cute. It's all right. It's all right. Now we're going to do the hood, and I'm about to show y'all how I'm going to pin it down. Now, putting the hood on is pretty simple. You're going to do the same thing that you basically did with the waistband. As you're sewing the hood on, you're probably going to have to stretch the hood a little bit. But I'm just showing you how I'm pinning it down. And the hood was kind of hard to sew on because the fabric is so thick. Now for the zipper, I'm not necessarily going to show you guys how I did my zipper, only because I had to shorten it, and that's a whole nother step. I did do the waistband on the jacket the exact same way that I put it on the pants. So just follow those steps. And as for sewing the zipper down, you're going to unzip the entire jacket and flip it inside out in order to sew the zipper. You do need a certain kind of presser foot for this, so that's why I did not include how I sewed the zipper down. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for supporting me. This was a very hard project, but it came out so good in the end. I hope you guys try it. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment on the video, or you can DM me on Instagram or Twitter. I'm always responding. See you guys on my next video.